Hi, my name is Bret and this is audio commentary on my movie Love at First Sight. This movie is it's about two things. One, it's a love story between a boy named Peter and a girl named Sarah, and how Peter was an outsider before and after meeting her, he changed his life. But it's also about a guy who pretends to be blind in order to gain an advantage in getting girls. The opening sequence was black in order to show the perspective of through a blind man's eyes. Also, just to make the viewer believe that the main character is blind without giving away the twist. The first couple shots are just isolated shots of Peter, just to show that he doesn't have many friends and that he's different from everybody else. The viewer doesn't know why, but they probably think it's because he's blind. These dolly shots actually took a lot longer time than expected. Actually filmed the beginning dolly shots and the end dolly shots at the same time on the same day because it was easier. We just switched his shirt. They were just meant to show pensive thinking and isolation. Also make the viewer feel bad for Peter for being blind. Um, Also, this next scene with the bullies actually was meant to be humorous at first with the yo-yos and stuff like that, but with the sad music, it just added more to the sadness and isolation of Peter, and also just make the viewer feel bad for him. This next shot was kind of a Hitchcock moment of me where I put myself in the movie for a few seconds, just to have a cameo, and I'm always in my own movies. Not much variety in the shot, but it's pretty simple just to get the point across that he does have friends, but just very few, and they do things like play cards on the weekend. It also sets up the next scene because he mentions that he has a dinner party to go to. At this dinner party, again, we see isolated shots, just showing, again, making the viewer feel bad for him. This is the first time we see Sarah, who's the other lead, who's the lead actress, and this is where the title of the movie comes in, Love at First Sight. Uh, Kind of implies that he can actually see when you think that he can't. Yeah, we had about two extras in this whole scene, make it look like the room was full. Um, Here he says when he sees her, it's like that no one else was there, and right after that, it cuts back over to her, where there is no one behind her, and her hair is flowing, there's light on her, and it's in slow motion. This is through his eyes, which also foreshadows the fact that he can see. This next part just shows her personality and how outgoing she is, and how she changes his life when she asks him to dance. He says he can't, but this is a scene that justifies their love and them um, shows them in love for the first time, and that's why the scene's kind of long. I used an effect on it for two reasons. One, to give it kind of a surreal, glistening effect and heighten the mood, but another because the lighting was kind of bad and I needed to do something to make it look like it was on purpose. Oh, again, this was a 360 shot. It took us about 27 times to do it perfectly because it was one continuous shot. I wanted to have motion on every angle of the shot. One side they're putting their hands together, another time she's putting her arm on his back, and there's movement in front of the camera at all times until it fades. The next scene opens up and time has passed, and Peter and Sarah are now going out. This just shows that. This scene was actually the first shot we shot in the entire movie when it was at a mall, and we got kicked out of the mall. The next location was actually at a grocery store. We needed to have a place with one of those toy vending machines, but I could not find one. It took about 4 hours on that day just searching for a location. and then it took like another 5 hours shooting this day. Um, this is when he senses a quarter on the ground, and she, not ever seeing a blind person before, thinks that's amazing that he could possibly sense something that she couldn't. And this whole toy ring vending machine thing is just a little cutesy thing just to show how in love they are. When I shot this day, um, I kind of wasn't expecting the best. It was kind of almost guerrilla filmmaking. Um, I had planned the shots before in my previously planned location, but because I had no idea where I was going to shoot that day, kind of just shot it on the fly. There were a lot of things in this area that made me think it was going to be a bad day. I couldn't control the sound, I couldn't control the lighting. Every once in a while, there'll be a random kid in the grocery store that screamed. It was a pretty tough day to do. This next thing with the ring on the finger just meant to transition to the next scene and show how time has passed. It fades to black to make the viewer assume that next scene is going to appear in that lit house and that it was an establishing shot. But in reality, we pan almost 180 degrees to a gazebo on the water where our lovebirds, Peter and Sarah, are having a date. Um, this scene is a little more somber than the rest because this is um, the tragedy of the movie when Sarah tells Peter that she is moving, and this is a sad point for Peter because this is the only girl he's ever loved. I mean, being blind, you wouldn't expect to have a lot of girlfriends. Um, so this is supposed to be the heart-wrenching moment of the movie with a lot of zooms in and pans. I also didn't add any music for the scene just to show a little realism. This shot right here, I just keep it on Sarah when she leans in on him because the viewer wants to see Peter's expression and I don't let them see it. And then the camera slowly zooms over and you see that Peter's trying to hide his emotions and by looking away. From then it cuts to the present time when there's a pensive thinking shot on a dolly where you think he'd be sad. But as he picks up his backpack, you hear him say, "My life will never be the same." This is a part not many people get. The girl that taps him on the shoulder, you'd assume it'd be Sarah, but actually it's a different girl. 360 shot at first is supposed to make you think, wow, he's found love again. But then, slowly, the intense music begins. This is supposed to throw off the viewer, and you're kind of thinking at this point, like, what? What's going on? Um, you find out that it's actually a different girl, and right as you see that, there's slow motion of Peter fixing his glasses and looking around. This is supposed to imply that he was not blind after all. And from then, it just cuts to black,